Here's a thing that happens all the time. Someone tells me they've cleaned up their diet. They've cut the soda, they've cut the candy, they're starting every morning with a smoothie because that's the healthy choice. And I always ask what's in it. Banana, mango, a handful of pineapple, some orange juice as the base, maybe a spoon of honey because honey is natural. And I have to tell them gently, what you've just described is closer to dessert than breakfast. It just happens to taste virtuous. I'm not here to take your blender away. I'm here to tell you something the health halo around smoothies has been hiding. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why certain smoothies quietly deliver a sugar load that rivals a candy bar, even when they're made from nothing but fruit. And you'll know how to build one that actually works for you instead of against you. So let's start with the thing nobody tells you. The problem with a big sweet fruit smoothie isn't really the fruit. It's two things working together: what you do to the fruit when you blend it, and how much of it ends up in a single glass. Think about eating a whole apple. You pick it up, you take a bite, you chew it 20, 30 times. That chewing matters more than most people realize. It triggers a whole cascade. Saliva enzymes start breaking things down, stretch receptors in your jaw signal your brain, your stomach starts preparing. And the apple itself is doing something important on the inside. Its sugar is locked inside intact plant cells surrounded by fiber. That fiber slows everything down. It slows how fast the stomach empties. It slows how fast the sugar moves into your small intestine. It forms a kind of gel that makes everything move more slowly. Your blood sugar rises, but gently, over time. And here's the crucial part. By the time you've chewed and swallowed your way through a whole apple, you are actually satisfied. The chewing took time. Your body had time to register what it was receiving. Now do the same thing in a blender. Take 2 or 3 pieces of fruit, pour in some orange juice as the base, maybe add some sweetened yogurt or a drizzle of honey. Blend for 30 seconds, and drink it in 90 seconds. You've just consumed the sugar equivalent of several pieces of fruit, plus the juice, plus the honey, in the time it takes to read a text message, and your body barely noticed it coming. Here's the way I think about it. Whole fruit is sugar that comes with breaks and a speed limit. The fiber is the breaks, the chewing is the speed limit. A big sweet smoothie built on juice with multiple fruits and added sweeteners is the same sugar with the breaks cut and the speed limit gone. Same source, completely different ride for your blood sugar. And the health halo makes it worse. You feel like you earned that smoothie because it came from fruit. But your pancreas doesn't know what your blender did to it. Now, I want to be precise here, because the research on blending is more interesting than most people think. When you blend whole fruit, just the fruit, no juice added, the total amount of fiber doesn't disappear. Blending doesn't destroy fiber. What it does is change the physical structure of the fruit. It breaks open cell walls. It pre-digests things mechanically. And when seeds are involved, like raspberry seeds, passion fruit seeds, blackberry seeds, blending can actually release soluble fiber that was trapped inside those seed coats, which can slow down absorption. Some controlled studies have found that a water-based blended fruit smoothie produces a similar or even lower blood sugar response compared to eating those same fruits whole. So why am I still telling you to be careful? Because those studies use water as the base. Just water, just fruit. No juice, no sweetened yogurt, no honey. They're not testing the smoothie you actually make or buy. Research going back to the 1970s has shown that apple juice produces a significantly larger insulin response than either blended apples or whole apples. And most real-world smoothies use juice as the base, not water. The moment you replace water with juice, you've swapped the braking system out. And then when you add honey or agave on top, you've put a lead weight on the accelerator. And this is where the health halo does its real damage. The health halo is what happens when something looks and feels healthy, so your brain stops questioning it. You would never pour yourself a large glass of mango juice, stir in 2 bananas worth of sugar, and add a spoon of honey, and call that a virtuous morning choice. You'd know that was a lot of sugar. But blend those exact same things and suddenly it's a breakfast smoothie and it feels like self-care. The blender changed nothing about the sugar content. It just changed how you felt about it. And here's the other thing the health halo obscures: the size. Studies on smoothies and satiety consistently show that liquid calories are less filling than the same calories in solid form. When you chew, your jaw sends mechanical signals to your brain. When you swallow liquid, you skip that whole conversation. Your stomach registers the volume, but not the chewing, and the satiety signals come in weaker and later. So a 500 milliliter smoothie, which is a pretty ordinary size, doesn't leave you as full as eating all of that fruit whole would. Which means some people end up eating just as much food afterward. The smoothie was on top of the day, not instead of something. Put all of this together and you see the picture. Not the fruit, not the blending, not exactly. It's the juice base, the added sweeteners, the volume, the missing protein and fat, and the health halo that makes you drink a very large one every single morning without a second thought. That's the sugar bomb. And it's hiding in plain sight behind the word healthy. So let's fix it. Because a smoothie can absolutely be a great meal. It just has to be built like one. The key is flipping the ratio. Most fruit smoothies are structured with fruit as the star and everything else as a supporting player. What you want is the opposite. Protein and fiber are the base. Fruit is the accent, the flavor note at the end, not the point of the whole thing. Start with leafy greens. Spinach is the easiest place to begin because once it's blended, you genuinely don't taste it. A large handful, 2 or 3 ounces, adds real fiber and micronutrients and costs you almost nothing in flavor. If you can handle it, kale works too. This is your fiber foundation. Now add real protein. Greek yogurt, full fat, plain, no flavoring is my first recommendation. You get protein, you get fat, you get a creamy texture, and you're not adding sugar. If you're dairy-free, a clean protein powder with minimal ingredients works well. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, or ground flaxseed all add protein and fat together, which is a bonus. You're aiming for somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 grams of protein if this is a meal replacement, though the exact target depends on your size and goals. Then add healthy fat. A tablespoon or 2 of almond butter or peanut butter, half a small avocado, a tablespoon of chia seeds if you didn't already add them. Fat slows down everything in your digestive system, including how fast the fruit sugar eventually arrives. It's a natural break that you're building in from scratch. Now, and only now, add your fruit. And here I want you to think of fruit as a flavoring, not a filling. A small handful of frozen berries is the ideal choice. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries. All of them are lower in sugar than tropical fruits like mango, banana, pineapple, or dates. And all of them bring antioxidants and fiber. If you love bananas for creaminess, use half of a small one. Half, not 2 whole bananas. The fruit is there to make this taste like something you want to drink. It's not supposed to be the main event. For your liquid base, water, unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened oat milk, or plain cow's milk. Not juice, not coconut water, which is higher in sugar than most people expect. Not flavored anything. The liquid is just to make it blendable. It doesn't need to add sugar. And skip the honey, skip the agave, skip the maple syrup, the date syrup, the natural sweetener of any kind. Here's why the word natural doesn't protect you. Honey is explicitly classified as a free sugar by the World Health Organization, the same category as table sugar. Agave is often marketed as a safer choice because it has a low glycemic index. And that part is technically true. But the reason it has a low glycemic index is that it's extremely high in fructose, often 70 to 90% fructose. And fructose doesn't spike blood glucose the way glucose does. It does something else instead. It goes straight to your liver. And in large amounts over time, it's associated with elevated blood fats and worsening insulin resistance. It's not a free pass. It's just a differently problematic sweetener. If your smoothie is sweet enough without it, which it will be if you've used berries and a half banana, leave the sweetener out. A ripe berry and half a banana are already doing more than enough work. Now let me go through the 4 mistakes I see most often, because each one quietly cancels the good intentions behind it. Mistake number 1 is the all-fruit smoothie with a juice base. This is the smoothie in its most concentrated sugar form. 2 mangoes, a banana, pineapple chunks, and orange juice as the liquid. No protein, no fat, no meaningful fiber break. You're essentially drinking several servings of fruit sugar diluted in more fruit sugar, with nothing to slow it down. It tastes fantastic, it feels healthy, and metabolically it's closer to a large glass of fruit punch than to a meal. And you did it believing you were doing something right for yourself. That's the health halo at work. Mistake number 2 is adding honey, agave, or any natural syrup on top of already sweet fruit. If you've put mango and banana and dates into a smoothie and then drizzled honey over it, you are adding free sugar to free sugar. The word natural on the label does not change what it does in your body. Your liver processes honey the same way it processes table sugar. Marketing is not the mechanism. Mistake number 3 is making a smoothie with no protein, no fat, and no real fiber anchor. Just blended fruit and maybe some ice. This is liquid sugar with vitamins attached. There's nothing in there to slow the absorption, nothing to generate satiety, nothing that tells your body this was a meal. Some people drink one of these and feel hungry again within an hour. And that's not a willpower problem, that's a physiology problem. The smoothie didn't have what it needed to do the job. Mistake number 4 is the giant one. Even a well-built smoothie, spinach, protein, fat, a small amount of berries, becomes a problem at enormous size. A 32-ounce smoothie, even a good one, is a lot of calories and a lot of sugar from the fruit. Watch the size. A well-built 16-ounce smoothie is a reasonable meal. A 32-ounce smoothie of anything is usually too much. Before I let you go, one important note. If you have diabetes or you're managing blood sugar on medication, liquid calories hit your numbers faster than solid food in ways that can be tricky to predict. What looks like a modest sugar load on paper can land differently when it arrives in liquid form. Build your smoothies in consultation with the doctor or dietitian who knows your specific situation. And if you have the ability to check your glucose response after eating, a new smoothie recipe is a good thing to test. This is not one-size-fits-all territory, and nothing I've said here replaces the person who knows your full picture. Here's where I want to leave you. A smoothie can be one of the most efficient, nutrient-dense meals you make, or it can be a dessert in a health costume, and the difference is almost entirely in how it's built. Protein and fiber leading. Fat slows things down. A small amount of fruit for flavor. Water or unsweetened milk is the base. No juice base, no added sweeteners, a reasonable size. Tomorrow morning, try the flip. Instead of building your smoothie around the fruit, build it around what's going to hold you together, the spinach, the protein, the nut butter, and let a handful of frozen blueberries do the flavoring. You'll be surprised how good it tastes and how different you feel 2 hours later. If this helped you see something you hadn't seen before, do me a favor. Subscribe so the next one finds you. And share this with the person in your life who starts every morning proud of their smoothie, because they deserve to know how to make it actually work for them. It might be the nudge that changes how their morning goes.